this one. It's gonna be a great combo. I love to see that. It is a very often played tier 2 meta at the moment, which is go great. And with Frank, we don't get to see him often enough either. Just teleport through. Once you have your hypercharge, you can have the double setup and teleport directly from spawn into the zone. Now again,
Всем здорово. Сегодня будем смотреть ежемесячные финалы. Сейчас я... Все есть. Все работает.
Which I'm so happy about, because you might like it, but I really don't. I think it just takes away so much. Like, I like those kind of scrappy fights in mid rather than just dying, TPing up, dying, TPing up over and over and over again.
But it works.
Я опять же Дамиан ФП, это так пиздец. Дамиан ФП, это ну пиздец.
You all alluded to it, but I think part of the serious pick is he's kind of a hybrid thrower, right? He can sit behind those walls, but even if they open it up, Frank's gonna be a super feeder. Like you all talked about, this strategy revolves around Gray setting up teleport and Frank diving in. It's a lot of isolation, it's a lot of sitting your ballers one-on-one and just getting those percentage points. And as long as they keep series alive, they're going to be able to get so many spawners. Sure, the hammer hit has a piercing shot, but for somebody who's a single individual shot brawler like Gray, that can get overwhelming real quick.
I think you can see the pain in my face. Edgar and Damien picked up once again. Now, I already doubted that the rival would win against it. Now, we saw that Nita's planning a counter to it. They banded out on the left-hand side, still left both of the doors open. Both now go the way of rival. I mean, I got proven wrong before, but I feel like it's very hard to win against Edgar and Damien on the same roster. Series also still a very meta brawler on the left-hand side. Now, Shade is a decent answer to the series, of course, also not too bad against Edgar. I don't know, I have my doubts, but I'm
valid doubts.
I'm happy, we are happy to be proven wrong, Phase Zero. This is your last chance to make it into the semis. Show us some more of that good stuff you had against Zeta in the qualifiers.
Well, we've got to make sure here that Gray's not getting those supers early on, and only a couple walls placed there. Tell me. In the back lines, Gray already got 1 TP. This is the opposite of what they want.
Yeah, I like Shade in the sense that I can go through the crowd control that Damien has, right? He drops the mosh pit, he can fan through. This is common, but how does it pair with a Frank who's likely going to be tearing down walls? Shade, once he gets this first super, though, I think is going to excel. Specifically, it's going to cover them against the series. You see that there. Now they get a couple tags as well. It's already off to the races. I mean, Phase Zero going to 30+, and now another takedown as well. They've isolated the rival members. I mean, this is a great play. It was a question mark of a strategy call, but so far, so good.
I mean, the early game's supposed to be where it's bad, right? So now they've kind of got 3 hypercharges, and they're ahead. I worry. And I think that is some fair worry looking at what's happening right now. Mira going to get pushed back, hypercharge used there as well, throwing out some really fast shots, and Utspin does get the kill. They're already in such a lead, and the TP should be set up momentarily.
Head first at the Gray, so now Shade left all alone, but still cycling these supers so well, already with another one in the rotation, as they're going to be going for the double teleport play, and extra shields going down Rio. He backing him off, a dive in as well with the hypercharge. It's purple buttons being clicked everywhere, off screen even. Edgar going down, they're slowly clawing their way back. Shade alone can't get this job done.
Great job of
Я вычистил.
Well, Mira's going to come in. Utspin jumps on top, super backwards onto Rio. Hey, great choice from him, considering Utspin's going to be such a hard target to hit. And now, it was close, but all 3 of them on the mid with only 10% left is not going to be easy.
Ну, я знаю, иди чистить. Я их чистил, реально.
From Phase Zero, once more, just proving us wrong.
This early game's important. There's multiple brawlers that they can't feed supers to, but it's difficult because the one-on-one matchups aren't always easy. Once Shade gets that super, Sirius is going to have some serious problems. And on top of that, if Gray gets that teleport early, you saw it there, they can just keep fanning in stuff. So it really relies on this early game. You talked about if this strategy is supposed to be a long-term battle, not a short-term, we're going to take a 30% lead and just hold on for dear life, because that's where it goes wrong for the red roster.
Well, this is much better, Kenny, I will say. Wow. This is the start they would have wanted in the previous one, I'm sure. All of them staying alive, no Gray TP, 25% already collected. Much better.
Double spawner on the ground. They answered the call real quick. Now diving straight at Mira, a pushback as well. Udapin joining in on the action as well. They've isolated Frank. They've got Teltney all alone, going for the extra shot. He's solo focusing this series. Already a hypercharge in play too. Does get the takedown, but it's enough for the red roster still to hold on. They haven't been able to focus their attention on the Edgar yet, who is cycling, getting takedowns, and now going for a third as well. Frank dropping a hypercharge just to try and stun him for a second. They finally get the kill, but now it's Shade diving in. It's an extra Damien going down as well. I mean, Rival excelling in game number 2.
So scrappy here. Hypercharge there from Damien, but a pullback from Renasuke. Needs to work for one more super, but all those spawners come in. Still gets it through all of them. And Mira, the last one fighting, didn't TP in, now does. And that's 82%. They do have a hypercharge already there for the Grey, but this one looks a little bit out of hand.
There is nothing passive about the way East Asia has played this multi-finals so far, and that is certainly showing here in set number 4 as Rival look to just tack on a few more percentage points. Job not done yet, though. Still have to climb their way through. Damien should have enough here, but they are getting quick takedowns, and now it's 77%. This could be FaZe Zero making an epic comeback.
Hypercharge there as well from the Sirius. Down they go. Damien's going to need a jump here. This might be what they need. Super from the Frank, and surely they're going to turn this one around. Hypercharge comes in from him, but it's going to be a 1% game. 2 there in the end, and that is a huge throw coming in from Rival Esports. Should have easily won that game, but in the end, it's FaZe Zero dragging it all the way.
That's painful. We were gassing them up. Oh, what a good start. Oh, good job, guys. We're making a comeback. And it was. And it was. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. That's part of these scrappy strategies. When you're not focusing on control-based compositions, you're just kind of leaving it up to chance. You have to play perfectly. And once they let go control, again, once the long-term comes into effect, Rival's job is to make this as quick of a game as possible. Usually, I feel like on paper, this is going to go one of 2 ways. Either FaZe Zero, with their composition, is going to win it in a semi-close one, but they're going to be able to rotate enough brawlers, it's going to go the distance. Or Rival should be winning this, I don't know, in the 100 to 50, you know what I mean? Like it was at the start, where they had a 30% lead. They win the beginning matchups, they don't allow the enemy team to succeed or set up. And instead, it's just Rival blowing such a close one here. I mean, 2% looks small on paper, but in the context of how much of a lead they had, that's a tough one to swallow.
2-0 turned into a 2-2. We're now going all the way to set 5. Both of our quarterfinals so far really are giving us our money's worth. The Shade definitely worked out. Of course, he's really good against all 3 brawlers on the right-hand side, but it wasn't what made it work in the end. It was that great teleport that worked out. That's tier 2 strategy, I called it. I think in the end we learned today that against Damien you either pick Nita, that seems to be the best counter to it, or you ban out Nita and Ems and then go a great teleport comp and just completely ignore the fact that they have a Damien. Trev, I know you weren't a fan of it, just seeing them teleport in, die again, teleport in, die again, but it works. Even if the Damien gets a couple of kills, we win the map.
What I've learned today is that Rival Esports love to just go 1v3. Like,
overconfidence still showing.
Shining through again. We saw it in Bounty. They're feeding so many stars over. In this one, they got like a 30-40% lead. And like, yeah, I'll tell you what, let's just go in 1 by 1 again. Well, nothing can go wrong with that, surely. And then they just like lose it so fast. It's just worrying. They need to just settle down for me.
That is something I tell my players all the time. On Hot Zone, if you're alone, wait for your teammates to come out of spawn and go in together.
Especially with a massive lead.
Buddy system.
Yeah, it's not something that Rival Esports learned. On Golden Gulch, well, you don't have to wait for your teammates to respawn. Once they're dead, they're out. You don't get any respawns, so this might just be their best mode. And, Trev, how often did FaZe Zero scrim the map?
It's looking like 0 again, Sonny. It's looking like 0 again. But this is our fault. It's not like Rival even picked this one. Set 5, that's on us. We're picking these maps.
It's random. We're not picking anything.
Tiebreaker map once again, though. So clearly, neither of these 2 teams wanted to face this at all. And that was where I was going. It's indicative, I think, on this map in particular. Bans make a huge deal. So no Edgar, no Leon, no Damien. On the other end, we have no kit. A lot of these assassins, and you throw Mortis in there, I guess, in the global bans too, a lot of these aggressive top-tier options are gone. So I wonder if we get more of a sharpshooter, defensive kind of effort.
RT, Angelo come to mind immediately. 2 of the best brawlers on Knockout currently and also on this specific map. Pierce left open as well. If you want to play a sharpshooter, maybe pair it with a Brock. Open up the map. We still have some aggressors open. Kenny mentioned it. Very much of them have been banned out, but Mina, for example, slid through once again, and she had some great showings today already.
Well, we'll see if that's the route they go. Do they want to go that aggression?
А.
Kenny said you might want to play a bit more sharpshooter, but that is
Не, я дома
that is the
хочу.
case.
Тут
It's gonna
вот
brawler at least
ежемесячные
better.
финалы.
Honestly, for the most part, it's been working for whoever's picked this brawler up. It's never been really the Mina's fault that enemies lost, to be honest with you. So I really like that sort
Может
of fire
быть,
and stack it
10
up as well with
рублей.
some heals.
Потом
Pretty sharp ones.
А, мама, мне сейчас нужен. Мама, ну пожалуйста, мне нужно сидеть.
У меня нет, не снять.
Ну давай тогда со мной в грин сходишь быстро. А?
Play this to perfection.
Yeah,
On top of
yes.
that, just knowing how much support Mina can have,
Поехали
getting
в
towards those
самый.
in-game, you have a triple
Куда?
threat option, especially
идем.
when
Все
one
равно
life is
в
all
маг
you get in
формируешь.
this one.
Куда
А
именно?
что ты хочешь купить?
В грине.
Что? Я мармеладки сегодня не куплю.
Я не мармеладки. Вы куда сейчас? Куда? В варенье который? Окей, сейчас я пешком тогда приду. Ну ты со сдачи мне снимешь деньги.
Я не понимаю, что тебе нужно в магазине.
Я приду, посмотрю и выберу.
Нет, пока ты не скажешь, что, я не вижу.
Точно не пепси, не мармеладки.
Значит, приедут тогда.
Мама, ну я... Хорошо. Тебя устроит, если я тебе скажу туфли, этот напиток, который мохито, и мороженое.
Sharpshooters, you're going to have a pretty decent match against the RT, against the Brock, against the people. So something long range, or as you mentioned, the Jaeyoung still should be fun.
Yeah, Angelo going to come in as their sharpshooter's choice. I don't mind this at all. I like the... hybrid kind of approach. We've got support in range.
Better. And Emily has been one of the best brawlers for rival esports this sprint on phase 0. Meeple has the rage quit. Is that going to be enough against the Mina, Trev?
Probably not, I'm going to say, just because of how much I like Mina. And I think he's kind of running riot at the moment, to be honest with you as well. So we'll see if it is going to be the case. Mira took a hit early on there from Ryohei as well, but he's getting one in return. Renasuke, sending him back to the right side. Follow-up will be there as well, and the mark adds a bit extra damage.
Each side claiming their end. It's going to be east-west kind of affair. Big reason for Angelo coming through here as well, I believe, is going to be the construction of the map. It's a reason Brock gets picked as well. You either want wall break if you're Brock, or you want to take advantage of the water and be Angelo, where you can get to the middle a lot quicker. That's a nice tag. Each side just passively exchanging shots. It's going to be a matter of who can get those supers first. Looks like it's going to be RT on this one, of course.
There was a little grass break, I should say, that's helped me on the left-hand side as well, just to ensure that in future rounds they can't be sneaking on that side, and especially with the Mina, that's what you want to be scared of, making sure she doesn't make the moves. Another one there as well will break the grass yet again, so not too fussed about the walls, it seems, more worried about getting those kind of grass out of the way so she can't sneak.
Now Mira looking for these little flank shots as well. Lightning bolts going down to Toro, low HP. Now Super for RT could be cashed in here. A jump in, Ryoki trying to get away, but not going to be enough to discard this. Going to be 3 blue members getting the best of them there. In terms of utility, hopping into the next one, I believe a lot of it being exchanged there. So we still have Angelo, who has a little poison. He can drop the swamp if needed. But this blue side going to be a little more empty-handed. They cashed in there towards the end of round number 1.
Yeah, he cycled that super out quite nicely, Ryohei. Placed it down, jumped away, and the RT legs were kind of lingering on it a bit, getting some more charge back. So, as well played from him, but couldn't quite get the round on the board. It is the Mina now trying to make the rotation over onto the Meeple, but doesn't want to over-aggress at all. Now the wall breaks are starting to come in to help me hit from the right-hand side.
Not the best wall break. I mean, in terms of destruction of wall, it only got a couple little points there, but nonetheless, at least a little bit better for them. The more open space they have, Mina can dance around, but at the same time, they can rely on the sharpshooter shots of RT and Brock. Now Rival look to cluster together once again. There it is. Finally gets that wall broken up. So going to be relying on this open space and counting those shots as net.
Well, Super's ready to go for phase 0 at the moment, and only 1 for the side of Rival. Pinching in now, though, is U2Pin trying to get around the bottom against this RT instead of the Meeple naturally was on before. Hypercharge there as well. Good kill from U2Pin. Round the back, Mira, super of his own here as well, and are going to try and go for it, but that seems like an overcommit for what the position they were in. Should have maybe saved some supers for the next round, and Rival win it.
It's a fair point, and now as we go into this round 3, Byron has a super, I believe Brock has super, but those hypercharges going to make a huge difference. I think for somebody like Byron as well, now he can really heal up teammates or save himself as well. This is going to allow Udapin a little more play action ability, right? Now they break open these walls once again, so not going to be able to rely on this. The windmill is going to be really important. I think this one's likely going to come down to another final closing in circle moment. I think that's what Rival ultimately want, and ideally for RT as well. If he can get a hypercharge charged up and super going around, they want the exact same thing.
So he needs a super before a hypercharge here, I think, but wall break coming through from Teltney. And yet again, not breaking up masses of walls, still leaving a couple of lingering ones in the mid. There's a windmill gadget coming in from Utapin, a hypercharge from Ryohei. They're going to section off Teltney here, who's forced to hypercharge alone. Actually throws out a brilliant hyper super. Ryohei's going to go down, and he just sent that, and it worked.
A trade was more than ideal. He was a goner, and instead ends up getting a frag, as now in the 2v2 situation, this is much more even, especially with Gadget coming out of Meeple. The one thing they're missing is supers from both sides. It's really going to be a matter of how they can land these regular shots as the fog encroaches.
Well, there's the super for Utapin early on, might be able to try and make this aggressive move. Now there's the rage quit sent out towards Renosuke though, and he gets that kill. 2v1, and Totoro will come and tank. Rival take it, and they're going to be on match point.
Great 2v2 situation. It really came down to the race to get that super. Once there was a hurricane that could go down, a little kick up into the air. Byron was sending heals, passive shots, and I loved the great veteran play at the end there. Mina's low HP, so Byron's going to sprint, meet shielded up from the 2v1, and just ensure that the teammate can charge up a little bit to make sure they get that win. In a high-pressure situation, especially with Rival kind of fumbling here more towards this 3rd and 4th set, it's nice for them to get back on track.
Yeah, I will say it was really nice as well from the Brock in there to be able to get that trade. Actually almost got 2 as well, because he made so many connections. So really nice from him. Unfortunate that they didn't get more out of that, but at least he put his team in a 2v2 situation when it absolutely should not have been that with his positioning. 3v3 back again now in the start of a new set, and it's just more walls going down this time than the grass in the, like the last one.
Yeah, it told me decorating the map really early on here, using that extra rocket fuel to make sure they can tear it down a little bit. That's part of the influence for Brock in general in Knockout. Now Udapin really going down towards the bottom of this map, separating from Byron. I think ideally they want to have Byron play this a little bit closer. Instead, though, looking comfortable playing this long-range affair. It's Byron healing up this Angelo an awful lot. They need a big-time connection. Now a couple going through as well. Udapin trying to move forward. Gadget going in. Windmill to protect themselves as Mira still has 800, just hiding in this grass, hoping that nobody makes the mark.
Mira might burn down here, and does. Really nice from Ryohei to be able to get that super off. Renosuke has a super of his own. Now, wants to get to this late game and use it down. Totoro so low, but splashes himself. Good shots coming through, but a 2v1 is not something that Teltney can win on that Brock. And this is going to be 1 round left for Rival to take it all.
Advantage Rival, 1 round away. And now a hop in from Ryohei, immediately jumping the gun, trying to knock an arrow and make contact. Doesn't get any connection with Udapin sneaking on this right-hand side. They can see it, though. Clearly shots going down there. They have no idea where Brock is. I don't think they clearly know where all the players are, because they're very cautiously working around this right-hand side. Now everybody's showing face. So all of a sudden a little rage quit. Not going to do enough there, though. Obviously with full HP, just not going to make enough contact to stun for very long.
Utapin in this 1v1 versus Mira, left-hand side. 2 supers ready to go for phase 0, and they need everything that they can get here. Ryohei earns one of his own on the right. And so does Byron. Ready for this late game now with a couple of healing supers and damaging shots. Utapin just wanting one of his own. Now Renosuke's got his too.
Phase 0 running out of opportunities. They need to make this round number 2 count. There's a couple good tags come out of Rival. Pressure being applied as Phase 0 need a little bit of grass to work with. Not a lot of field, longer range, and also Udapin at any moment can just dive in.
There's the gadget from Utapin, puts him in a good position, gets 1 kill there. Another super from Brock, doesn't do as much as last time. Utapin swoops in, and Rival get the kills, 3 of them left surviving. And that's going to be the game going their way.
Definitely a little scarier than I think Rival would have liked, especially after the first 2 sets. Very convincing stuff. Slowly, Phase 0 claw their way out of it. A beautiful match, really well played from both teams, and I think for Phase 0 especially, a really solid first showing. Rival, of course, not the likes of something like a Crazy Raccoon or a Zayden Division in our standings, but we know they have a chance at going to something like an LCQ. This is a quality team to put up a fight against, build experience points, and now Rival will have another shot at Crazy Raccoon coming up.
I mean, for me, if Rival play like that against Crazy Raccoon, though, they don't have a chance. They were way too kind of handing over games too easily through Bounty, through Hot Zone. Like, they were just handing kills, handing games over, which you can't do against a team like Crazy Raccoon. So definitely got a few things to iron out before they head into the semi-final, but they've got 2 quarterfinals worth of time to really think about it.
At the same time, just like Crazy Raccoon, they kind of struggle to close out. So also Crazy Raccoon doesn't look as strong as they used to in the past. That number 1 seed now against rival number 5 seed. It's going to be an exciting match regardless, because so far we haven't seen a single 3-0, not even a 3-1. We get some close games today. And yes, as you said, some of these moments that we've seen from Phase Zero today definitely show us a bright future for these guys. We definitely will see them again in the monthly final, especially Teltme in this set. That play, he got separated from his team and somehow still gets a trade-off. I don't know if that comes down to a fumble of rival or if he just played it so well.
I think it was just a great play. I mean, he was kind of in a tough situation and still made great contact with the enemy side. So Phase Zero, a team that we'll be looking out for in future qualifiers, in future months. But for now, Rival Esports going to take control. Crazy Raccoon, like you mentioned, not looking their best. So that could be an interesting semifinal posing on that upper side. But now we move forward to this lower side of the bracket. And there are several teams down here that I'm really keeping my eye out for. One of them, of course, being SKC. This is a team that every single month has had a better result. It's somebody in the preseason that I thought was going to be great. And I think this is a big opportunity, especially a Zeta division that I think is good, but not necessarily as convincing as I thought they would be coming to the season. I think they're vulnerable. I think SKC have a reason to strike in this lower side.
We get Arc back now as well. We haven't seen too much of convincing series from any of these teams today. It was always a 3-2, always problems to close things out. Is this one going to be just as close, Arc?
For context, we had like 3 2-3 scorelines in the whole entirety of Brawl Cup. That was over the course of 3 days. I mean, East Asia is honestly the gift that keeps on giving today. It is so neck and neck, it really is, and you can just see how much the rest of this region has elevated themselves. Whilst, you know, CR and Zeta have been taking the spotlight, everyone else has been putting in serious grind.
Love to see it, and I also love to see 2 for 2 gang. Keep it up, everybody, as now we ride with SKC coming up on the next. Hey, look, as close as these have been, we very well could be in a world where we're 0-2, and we all know we've been in that spot before. It's not nearly as fun, is it?
That never happened. What do you mean? We're prediction masters, all of us, and we all say SKC is gonna take this one. For me, on paper, quarterfinal number 3 didn't look as close as 2 and 4. Those 2 quarterfinals were the ones where I felt like kind of a 50-50. For this one, I do feel like SKC has to come out on top, right? But as we're already talking about this matchup, let's show them it's SK Kalalas East Asia versus Insomnia. And SKC with Kuro, Ghost, and Naipishu have been extremely hyped up right from the beginning of the spring split already. Coming into the summer split now, they do come in with some momentum, as in the last month we watched them in April. They did had a victory against the Zeta division. It was a close one. It was a 3-2, and then almost also went the distance against Crazy Raccoon, where they found finally their master in the grand finals. But so far, they're winning against every single team in East Asia except CR so far.
Yes, their progression speaks for itself. You know, the first month, the quarterfinals finish, semi-finals the following month, and then the grand finals finish. Not quite the first place, but nonetheless, they are really getting better as time goes on. For Naipishu, this is personal as well. This is his former teammates that he's pitched up against. So it's like the former effort result roster that he's going to be facing again today. So that should, in theory, be better for them. Like, he would be able to give information, valuable information to his teammates to really be able to get that edge over them today. Or maybe it's the sort of thing that can cause a team to crumble because, again, when you're playing against former teammates, you know, it's more personal.
I think the edge for SK Kalalas is really also having a coach that doesn't stem from the region itself. And I think the draft is really what is showing how SK Kalalas is really shining every single month. Let's see how they're feeling coming into June.
Naipishu, y'all had a very solid first half of the year, but now that Brawl Cup is over, do you feel more pressure knowing that your region is fully limited to 3 spots after EMEA took the other 2?
なんかスプリングスプリットは、結果良かったと思うんですけれども、今ブローカップが終わって、世界選手権の出場枠は3枠しかないということが決定されましたが、これはなんか、もっとプレッシャーを与えますか？
いや、今、僕たちだいぶ調子がいいので、とりあえず今月優勝できたらまだ全然狙えると思う。今回優勝して世界大会狙っていきたいかなと思います。
Yeah, we're cool. We're playing well. We're feeling okay. If we win this monthly qualifier, we will still be able to reach the world finals, which is obviously the goal. So we'll just do our best, try to win it, and then we're on a good course to go through.
Alongside that as well, with each passing month, you guys have had a better result. What is the next step to go from making a grand finals to, say, winning the grand finals in June?
まあ、マンスリーの結果といえば、毎月毎月徐々にこの結果が良くなったと思うんですけれども、今月優勝できるために一番大事なことは何だと思いますか？
まあそうですね。一番大事なことは、ピック、そのドラフト。前回は決勝まではピック良かったんですけど、ピックが決勝あんま良くなかったので、今回は全部ピック仕上げて優勝までのピックやったんで、それが一番大事かな思います。
Yeah, so I think last time our picks were very good until the very end of it, until the final. So and then in the final we just our draft was very very bad. So I think that's gonna be the most important thing for us this month to actually win. We want to go with good drafts, good picks all the way to the final, and then hopefully we can win it all.
So it seems like the draft was giving them the edge, but also the reason, for him at least, why they lost the grand finals last month. They didn't go quite as far as they would have wanted in the last month. Now I feel like coming into today, looking at their scrims as well, Ark, this could be the month where SK Kalalis is winning it all.
Yeah, they've been putting in some serious grind. I mean, it's fair to say. And, I feel like this region, again, is not nearly as clear-cut as any of the previous years in the BSC. You can just see from today alone how close it really is in terms of competition. Now, yes, Crazy Raccoon and Zeta Division are very much out in front in terms of points, but with a 1.5 times multiplier on those points, a team like, SKC could absolutely capitalize down in this second split of the season.
We're looking at the maps now. Once again, they have been drafted by our teams. SK Kalalis was allowed to start as they are the first seed. Now, Crystal Arcade is a map that we've seen already. Today is going to be their pick, followed up by Goldarm Gulch. Now actually picked and not just a decider. SK Kalalis with Open Business, Insomnia with Layer Cake. Triple Dribble is going to be the tiebreaker map here. Do we get to see a tiebreaker?
I don't think so. I think this is where the streak ends. I hope I'm wrong. I love 3-2s as much as all of us, but this is the one that I would say it feels like a 3-0, 3-1 to me. I think deep down in my heart of hearts, it's my fiduciary duty to be honest with you as Brawl Nation. I think this one's a 3-1 at best.
We did talk a lot about SK Kalalis already. On the other side of the arena here, we have Insomnia, who have qualified consistently. This is the third time, I think, they're playing in the monthly finals, and they never really made it out of the top 8, but that's still a solid, consistent performance. These are the global bands. Edgar and Damien bands out once more. Naja and Kid joining them now. So yeah, we won't have any shenanigans this time around. Kenny, you were casting the match before. Are you glad we don't get to see Edgar and Damien this time?
I mean, from a perspective of, it's just kind of nice to see every team take a different approach. It's cool to see that in our most recent edition, the map draft, that everybody's kind of doing their own thing. It hasn't just been the same set of 4 maps. We've all gotten a little unique spin on the game modes, which is cool. 95% of folks at home, though, riding with SKC. I don't know if there's ever a match in the BSC that feels that high, but unfortunately, I do think if I have to pick a winner, I kind of see where the poll's coming from, right? It just makes too much sense. They've got a backing of history. I get it. I'm sad, but I get it.
We had 2 matches so far. Both of them went the distance. Let's see if quarterfinal number 3 is going to. Are we going there as well? All the way is what we want to see usually, but SK Kalalis has been so dominant in scrims that I kind of fear for Insomnia it's not going to be an easy task. So far, never made it out of the top 8. Is today going to be the day? We seem to think not, but maybe they have some surprises for us in store.
Why do ESH never ban Pierce? I don't understand it. I looked at the map pool coming forwards and saw so much open range. I thought it was worthy of being a global ban. It's not even worthy of being a first pick, it seems, on this side of things. It's wide open here for SKC.
We sorry, we have the map draft very new here. I do want to mention here, Crystal Arcade has been a map that has been scrimmed only once by Insomnia, and they lost it as well. So SK Kalalas definitely did their homework not only in the brawler drafts, but also in the maps.
Yeah, it's going to be something new for all these teams, and I'm curious if it changes preparation, because when you've known your maps in the past, you're mainly focusing on those 5 in your quarterfinals, and then you do some in the semifinals, and if you're really confident, you go to the, Yadolo Grand Finals. But now, everybody's just kind of got to do everything. You find your strengths, and maybe these teams are just relying that their good maps are good enough to win, and then they hope they just put up enough of a fight on the losing ones.
For me, Ruffs and Pierce would be beautiful. Open up the map with the Ruffs, have the supply drop to the Pierce. Like, it's just kind of like quite an open, clear-cut thing for me, but let's see whether it is the brawl which they deviate towards. But the Nita ban, it's getting a lot of attention as well this month so far in this region, and I don't know whether I'm a massive fan of it. Crystal Arcade is so wide open. Chester in the back pocket. It's not the worst of brawlers, but I think they've just maybe missed a trick, no pun intended.
Anita's so much fun to play too. I don't know, they really don't like her, or she's just too strong against tanks. And let's see if tanks are what we're gonna see now. Some of them we already mentioned. Mina, of course, is still gonna be super strong. She's wide open as well as Fang, for example. Let's see what we get to see actually as our second pick here. Alongside the Chester, we still have some options open also to counter a Mortis, for example. Otis would have been a brawler that came to mind. Mortis is going to be picked up here, and of course, he's going to do fairly well as doing some shenanigans in the opponent's side. Stu just picking up the gems, Wahoshi making sure that the opponents don't have a single second of rest.
I still think Otis comes through here. I think if you're on this 4-5 turn, you need anti-tank, and Stu's kind of a hybrid mid. They have their aggressive option. Yeah. They need anti-tank, because if the 6 pick comes around and they grab something beefy that can do well, and they don't have enough damage output on this right-hand side, it's not going to go well. So they do grab DPS. I think not the exact same. I mean, it's not a clear-cut anti-tank, but it's also a flex carrier. It also has the hypercharge, which I think is lethal on this map. So I think that's allowable. I think very acceptable 5th pick there.
I'm on board with the Mo. It's a brawler that I quite like. I feel like Mo's best mode, however, is brawlable, but here it can certainly have a place. Stu, again, not too surprised to see it today. I think we're going to see a lot more of it also. The Mortis is quite an early kind of son of the aggressor. Kenji to come through from SKC as the kind of answer to it. But just kind of surprised that they were willing to sort of took that much risk in the Mortis at that stage in the draft. Not globally banned here, not banned out, so that's definitely a brawler looking forward to the next sets as well that kind of needs to be on that horizon.
Interesting graph for me. We have Chester being picked up on the left-hand side as the first brawler of SK Kalalas, and he has a pretty good matchup into all 3 members on the side of Insomnia. Now let's see what we're gonna see of these 2 teams, if Insomnia can surprise us today. Otherwise, SK Kalalas should be making it to the semis.
Fun start here as SKC looked to continue their crusade, had an excellent end to the spring split, got all the way to a grand final, and now they are heavy favorites in this quarterfinal number 3. An immediate takedown as well. They're going to send this flexible mid in Chester. Part of the reason he shows up so much in Gym Grab, he can operate in the lanes on these Hard Rock Mines, these Crystal Arcades, or he can play the mid if you want to. So many different options. On top of that, if Mo dives in, if Mortis dives in, look at this. They can just get immediate tags. Love the team play coming out of SKC early.
Yeah, Ghost T, phenomenal sandbags in those early few seconds, and then supply drop quickly earned and handed over to Kuri. Already full mid control, and the clustering of Insomnia is concerning for me, honestly. Good taps again off the wall from Ghost T onto that Mortis. Honestly, they've got to be keeping a very close eye on Koga. He's the most threatening of this squad.
Stu's going to have a hard time here, especially with the sandbags on the ground. Kenji, of course, he can dash away from, but just not going to be able to easily kill. I feel like a lot of effort is going to have to be put in for Mo to do damage, for Mortis to get up in the faces. There he goes, but a stun coming out immediately. What a good super to have on hand.
You don't quite know what's in your back pocket with Chester, but that is the way to hold it back. And I think that for Insomnia, that will sting for sure. But in terms of gems, in terms of the objective, not too shabby. 6 apiece now. Hypercharge pop for Ghost to that left-hand side now, entirely broken up. Napishu and Koga can dance his left-hand side. Bats coming out and the heels coming in.
Koga doing his best, but in the 2v1, just not going to be able to come out on top. Oh, and a beautiful tap as well. Naipishu from the skies, ceilings one, and now comes down with a couple gems for defense. Guru at 12 in the pocket, can now back away as Gene on this right-hand side doesn't have enough space, trying to deal with multiple brawlers at once, but they have to focus this Chester on the bottom of the map. Kenji with a hypercharge stowed away, though, should be able to play defense. It was a close back and forth. Like you mentioned, objective started to look better for the right-hand side, but it was SKC that prevailed. The mechanics there from Kenji is what saved him.
pinpoint precision from Nepishu. Unreal on that Kenji, making every single moment count. Not always easy, not always clear cuts to land the maximum value on those supers, but he was doing it every single time. And those takedowns were pivotal to turning things around, as it was so close until that moment. See a bit more from Insomnia, a bit more from Koga, ideally, as well as the aggression of SKC that is prevailing so far.
Everybody on SKC once again playing this together. The rotation's going through as now Koga expands to the right-hand side. Wall break down early. They've already fed Ghost T a super. Hochi just trying to claim one of his own as a Stu. That is so valuable. You have to be able to have some maneuverability, some dashes, so that you can make yourself count. Right now, it's not doing a lot. Kenji this time doesn't get the perfect strike, but will stay alive. Gene, kind of surprised, didn't go for the follow-up kill there. Held back.
I'm super surprised there as well. That would have been a prime opportunity to, you would wait, not waste super, but you would have to use super to ensure the takedown. But then you would be able to then put pressure onto SKC and stay in that spot, and it just brings the whole motion back into the spawn. It's a bit of a wasted opportunity for me, but 5 gems to 3. Insomnia still not doing a terrible job in terms of these gem captures. The Stu obviously going to lend his hand. And a nice dash there from Koga to not pick up that gem along the way to ensure that he can continue to stay on this aggressive. Kuro as well, going to be supered up by that supply drop so already. Oh, it's dangerous. Koga, though, too low HP to be able to contest it.
Now Koga's going to have to be careful, though, because as a Mortis, you don't typically want to hold gyms, and now has to go at the enemy side if they want to put any pressure on the team. Naipishu alongside Kuru, once again surviving. Now a little take cover going out of Ghost T, a super going out as well. Wall break even more so going through, and that's just going to play into SKC's hands.
Yeah, the more the map gets broken up, providing SKC can stay in this control. Nice break again from the left-hand side. It's only really the right and that top left that's going to be able to do too much there. Now with the speed zone, a chance to be able to heal up, evade these shots most importantly, and try to get in with another push. Nepishu knows it, goes right up against that wall and tries to get some value there as well, as Koga now will be lurking this right-hand side, but 3 gems above his head. That's enough to get a countdown easily if he drops it.
All eyes on Gene. Has the Mo hypercharged super and can dash basically across half the map, I would say, as a close guesstimate. Now encroaching on the right-hand side, all of SKC playing clustered up together. The take cover already down on the ground as Naipishu tries to go at this. They know they can either get a kill or operate in the middle as this gym mine goes down. There's the super. Gene diving and doesn't get the kill, though, but ties the 10th gym count. SKC still with the numbers, though, should soon go back to a countdown towards them.
Yeah, tough spot there for Gene. Couldn't really kind of go in any bit of timing, to be completely honest. Ultimately, there's not enough low HP to ensure it. Now, 12 to 10. They've got to go on the aggressive big time here, and there's a lot of healing that is required on the side of Insomnia. Koga on the right-hand side going in, but not able to close the gap enough to get anything of value, anything of utility. And that first set goes quite straightforwardly the way of SKC.
Nicely done. Pretty convincing overall. I mean, we saw some signs of life coming in from that right-hand in, but overall, the red roster just couldn't match up to SKC, and I think the mechanics really shone through. It can't be the play of the day because we know what happened in quarterfinal 1 with that Colette, but I thought that Kenji, the perfect tap, a hard super at a professional level to hit as well. That X pattern, obviously very predictable. These pro players have now dealt with it for a couple years. Peace signs even coming out as the celebration from SKC2. Looking back at the draft, I don't hate it. I think the Stu as the first overall pick was where this went wrong. It was a really good answer. SKC grabbed the Chester, so they have anti-take in the pocket. This makes it harder to get away with something like a Mortis, a Mo if he dives in. And on top of that, they now have sandbags, which traditionally have been a really good way to do it, still deal with Stu. So I think SKC, just with a strong build overall, gave him a little flexibility towards the end. I think that's just smart decision-making.
Were you surprised to not see the Pierce? I didn't want to bang on about it too much for me, just simply because, like, although it's my preference, I'm not the pro. In a map that's so easily broken up, I just felt like it could have been something. Again, the Mo and the Mortis are kind of deterrents of it, though. So I just kind of wonder whether there may have been a better mid on the side there of Insomnia.
I mean, I think very clearly after seeing Stu fall through, the one thing I will give them credit for is Stu is one of those kind of flexible hybrids, right? It can play a lane if you really want to, or it can play a middle. You can use the utility of either wall break, depending on the enemy composition, speed zone if you want the extra dash. Pierce is a great brawler. I am a little surprised we don't see it nearly as much as we see in something like a Brawl Cup meta, right? Where it was a really popular brawler. It's not like the guy's been nerfed or anything to the ground since we last saw him. It's a solid pick. I wonder if these teams, especially in this East Asian meta that we're seeing today, are clearly concerned about these aggro brawlers. I mean, they're really going deep in the bag to make sure they're pulling out the Kenjis of the world, the Mortis of the world. I mean, we see Kit, Edgar ban, Leon's coming out. There's just so many of these assassins, and I think maybe Pierce can just get a little overwhelmed.
Angelo double ban here, Gene double ban here as well. Crow gonna be open here potentially. I love it when we actually kind of see duplicates, because rarely do we get the chance to see a nice, healthy variety of brawler pool. I think brawlers like Brock here as well, definitely going to be easily wall broken open to give options. RT as well. Sort of the brawlers that you can wait to the later stages of the draft necessarily to be able to obtain, but I mean, there's safe bets. You can't really ever go wrong with them. Bell as well. Ultimately, the more time goes on, the more you can land those nest eggs. With Gus, you're expecting a kind of Ollie kind of pairing with that brawler. So whatever it is, has to be something which can be able to assert authority in that regard.
No Gene, so I think both of these teams kind of had their eye on some vision such as Leon, so that makes sense that they grabbed that with the first. Obviously, the Invisi heal can really help out. Safe 2-3 turn here, going with Gus, the shield, the long range, the kooky popper. A lot to like, even though he hasn't been nearly as popular recently, to brawlers like you mentioned, like Pierce, who are still available here. Double sharpshooter. Don't know if we necessarily see that in the face of a Leon, but I think it's something the left-hand side can keep in mind if they really want.
Yeah, Mina's a great pairing with that Gus. Really quite like that, and it just amazes me that Mina all day long has just never really been banned out.
Not banned, but always picked.
But
it's
always
wild.
picked,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's on that cusp, isn't it, really? And when you consider the bans that we've got, there was potential for it to be there. Back over now to SKC to add to this Leon pick. And protecting the lollipop drop certainly is going to be on their minds. And again, brawlers like Brock can kind of have that incinerary to go against it. Yeah, finally, Pierce coming through. I've got to be careful to not champion Pierce too much. But we see it so often in other regions. It's just kind of one of those brawlers that I've just noticed is not really translating over to the same consistency as we're seeing it picked in others.
Curious if this is a pro coming out. I feel like they want to protect from the vision of Leon. Instead, they just go full wall break. So I feel like this does leave some solid options. That's the 6th pick, though. It is a decently squishy team. I feel like they could very well go double assassin if they really want. I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting composition. I feel like I don't see Colt too much on this map in general. The other picks have made a lot of sense to me, but I want to kind of see how the Colt fits into this picture as the well-rounded roster. What are they really getting at here with the Colt to try and prevent the 6th pick from being?
Yeah, I'm with you. I did, however, love seeing Cole picked up in knockout by Only Realm at the Brawl Cup. That was super exciting to see. It's a really entertaining brawler to have, for sure. But I feel like they're just kind of wanting to have options to ensure that the Mina can't creep up, or in the eventuality that you mentioned of having there be a potential double assassination. Having that map be open would be an advantage for the Pierce to be able to then tap. The Leon as well, you've got to get that balance between wall break and allowing the Leon the places to place that lollipop drop and kind of assert themselves further forwards and using that cover. So again, communication will be very, very key in regards to how they want to go about this one. But I do love the Colt. It's just got to be in the right hands in that regard to land the shots and to really get the value which it brings. It's a very high skill cap brawler.
Intriguing draft to say the least. A lot of what we've got out of East Asia today. And of course with Mina on the map, playmaking potential all around as Kuru goes to this left-hand side. Ghosty dashing around as well. One of the benefits of Pierce is he obviously can replenish his ammo, but those sandbags are so good to him. Look at this. He's going to have to recharge all that ammo just from exhausting. He can't even one-tap a sandbag.
Good break there from Nepishu. That's silver bullet. And he is the man to really target those sandbags. Like you say, Pierce is going to struggle over time. Look at that connections from Ghosty. Brutal. Onto Koga, who's able to narrowly avoid that super, though. Going down instead of up. And Jean as well, taking a lot of shots from Nepishu. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from SKC. They are being brutal in their assault. And Insomnia have been pushed back down to that bottom right.
They've really just forced their way through, like you said, and now they've cut off this grass as well. It's going to make it harder for somebody like Koga to dash around and catch enemies off guard. With this fog closing in too, they're just going to have to operate in the open space as Ghosty gets backed away. He doesn't mind, though. He's a sharpshooter. Jean goes down. 3v2 situation. Windmill up, though. And now a gust bubble. 5,200 extra HP. And Ipishu doesn't land the mark this time. What a comeback. Nicely done by the red roster. A beautiful execution. They grabbed the first round, but I am fearful for them. The map is fully opened up. It was a long round, so SKC had plenty of opportunity to tear this down to their liking.
Connection there from Ghost T, gonna force the Gust upwards. Not too bad on that side of things. I'm worried about Koga potentially, but now he is healing. That last sandbag will fall, and SKC will just keep that mid-control on their side. But as time goes on, the pitch is gonna continuously break these bushes, and Insomnia are gonna have less and less places to hide in that regard. More sandbags down, lollipop drop as well. It's going to give SKC a little bit of a saving grace here. Koga going to be pinched out. And this is the Kuru, but we're not going to land too much. And there's the slow from Nepishu there, popping up. And Jean is the victim. 2 or 4 was should over.
Better word, right? It's been so back and forth. Each team capitalizing.
I think that 3-0 scoreline is going to kind of plague today's bracket somewhat, because having just come from 2-3 scorelines to that, which was easily one that could have been the same, I feel like they just kind of choked it. I just feel like they should have done that better and had many attempts to do so.
And I think SK Kalalas know it's too. You saw it in their faces, they didn't look overjoyed making it into the semi-finals. It is a 3-0 in the end, but a close one at that. It doesn't really reflect how close each of the sets really was.
Felt very competitive. I was still impressed with this region as a whole, and SKC sliding by at the very end there, some solid drafts, some very interesting stuff. I think by the time this weekend's all said and done, the drafting in this region will stand out compared to the others. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, this aggressive meta that they've got going down certainly sets up for some big-time plays.
I was really impressed, honestly, with East Asia so far this monthly final. I mean, you can just see how much work has been going on behind the scenes, how prepared everyone is coming in. Ghost T as well, 13 kills on that Mo pick, 371 DPS as well, the most of any of the 6 players there. I mean, phenomenal work from him, really, really it was.
I think overall we have...
Хоудика навсегда забанили в Бравл Старс, а Пози, Аурум и ММА собираются ливать из игры. Что же, черт возьми, происходит? И почему все крупные блогеры по Бравлу внезапно начали хейтить компанию Supercell? Сразу скажу, что все недавние ролики с критикой суперов, которые вы видели на ютубе, это отнюдь не совпадение, а очень продуманная постановка под руководством одной конторы. В этом видео я объясню, почему баны крупных креаторов по Бравлу это фейк, для чего их всех выкупили и кто за всем этим стоит. А началось все с вот этого ролика от Пози под названием «Это конец Бравл Старс», в котором он в формате айсберга разбирал проблемы Бравл Старса и компании Supercell. Причем, что иронично, он это делал под вставки из моих роликов. Ну и казалось бы, что в этом такого? Обычное видео с критикой Бравла. Я тоже очень часто критикую игру и Supercell. Но только вот критикую я не просто так, а по делу. Тем временем, как ролик Пози изначально показался мне довольно притянутым за уши. И в его видосе он больше акцентирует внимание не на проблемы самой игры, а на проблемы лично его аккаунта, который, по его словам, взломали пару лет назад.
Не так давно я узнал, что произошло с моим основным аккаунтом. Просто взяли и передали другому человеку.
Запомните этот момент, позже мы к нему еще вернемся. Спустя где-то сутки после выхода ролика Пози выходит видос на канале Аурума, тоже с говорящим названием. Там он рассказывал про свой путь Supercell креатора, и поскольку официальные креаторы, как мы знаем, должны лояльно относиться к разработчикам, он в своем видео аккуратненько так затрагивал проблемы в официалке, где, по его словам, Supercell давали ему по шапке за любую мелочь, то за участие в конфликте с Элаксом, то за показ багов. И что самое главное, он упомянул тот самый ролик Пози. Это тоже следует запомнить. Идем дальше. Слышишь этот звук? Это уникальный Nissan 370Z уже ждет тебя на парковке Playrock. В его салоне есть все. Новые акции, Бравл Пасс, а также ключи, подписки, донат, ТГ звезды и игровая валюта по самым выгодным ценам. А в багажнике целая куча подарков. В честь 4-го дня рождения этот Nissan 370Z, а также iPhone 17 Pro Max Max, PlayStation 5 Pro, игровой ПК, Nintendo Switch 2, MacBook Neo и много всего может стать твоим. Для этого нужно с 10 июня по 10 июля заходить на сайт, совершать покупки или выполнять ежедневные задания, чтобы получать плей-токены и обменивать их на билеты в одной из категорий призов. Чем больше билетов ты соберешь, тем больше шансов на победу. Переходи по ссылке в описании, пользуйся моим промокодом SungDragon, участвуй в розыгрыше и помни, если выгоднее и с подарками, значит PlayRock. После ролика Аурума проходит еще сутки, и на этот раз уже ММА записывает целых 2 реакции на ролики Пози и Аурума, где рассказывает, что его мнение необычайно сильно совпадает с мнением этих двух авторов.
Ну, походу, не только один я, да, мыслю так.
И, естественно, он также вставляет свои 5 копеек про уход Supercell из России.
Региона у нас как таковой нет. Его закрыли, уже особо ты не поиграешь.
Ну и еще ММА пожаловался на то, что игра стала скучной и слишком казуальной.
В самой игре она стала супер казуальной, супер простой.
Следующим на очереди стал Холдик, который запустил на первый взгляд самый обычный стрим, где он на протяжении 2 часов пушил трофеи на твинке. Но под конец он решил зайти на свою основу, после чего произошло вот это. Его аккаунт был навсегда забанен за использование софта, а затем он выпускает ролик на эту тему, где рассуждает, из-за чего же его могли забанить. И, конечно, совершенно случайно он натыкается именно на ролик Пози. Какое совпадение! После чего Холдик созванивается с Никитой Бессмертным. В ходе совместного звонка эти двое приходят к выводу, что Холдика могли забанить из-за того, что, только не смейтесь, он на чужом планшете вписал запрос в чат GPT, как скачать софт на Brawl Stars, чтобы никто не запалил. И по их теории, именно из-за этого запроса Supercell как-то вычислили аккаунт Холдика и забанили его навсегда, даже несмотря на то, что он ничего не скачивал. Пока что мы этот момент оставим и перейдем к Бессмертному, которому, угадайте что, также забанили аккаунт, а точнее просто заморозили. Конечно же, не обошлось без упоминания видео Пози и наезда на Supercell.
Я не знаю, не ценится ни разработчиками, ни Supercell, да просто никем, он просто вот так вот банится, как орешки щелкается просто.
Вот мы сейчас разобрали все эти ситуации, которые на первый взгляд кажутся абсолютно разными. Но если взглянуть поближе, то выясняется, что в роликах всех этих ютуберов прослеживается общая черта. Во-первых, они все ссылаются на ролик Пози. Ну, кроме самого Пози, что логично. Во-вторых, каждый из этих ютуберов пытается по-своему очернить Бравл и компанию Supercell. Для кого-то игра стала скучной, где-то Supercell по шапке дают, а кому-то аккаунт забанили. Кстати, насчет банов. Довольно странно, что Пози припомнил взлом своего самого первого аккаунта именно сейчас, потому что целых 2 года назад у него на канале было видео, в котором он рассказывал точно такую же историю.
Передает мой аккаунт какому-то рандомному чуваку.
Но данный факт почему-то не мешал ему продолжать пилить ролики по Бравлу на протяжении целого года. А сейчас у него внезапно разрабы стали плохие. С Холдиком тоже не все так просто. Как я уже говорил, перматч он получил во время стрима. Абсолютно весь стрим он находился на твинке. И по какой-то причине спустя 2 часа ему внезапно захотелось зайти на основу. Только в этот момент он почему-то вырубает демку игры и не показывает, что зашел именно на основу. Если что, в меню выбора аккаунта ничего конфиденциального нет, и скрывать его незачем. Потом ему игра снова предлагает зайти в Supercell ID, после чего он снова отключает демку. И разумеется, Холдик не просто так скрывает данное меню. Он делает это для того, чтобы нельзя было увидеть выбранный аккаунт. Но все-таки он на своем стриме спалил небольшой фрагментик. И посмотрите внимательно. Тут видно, что у него сохранено 3 аккаунта. А теперь смотрим, какая у него на основе аватарка Supercell ID. Желтый Хограйдер. Запомнили. Возвращаемся к этому фрагменту и видим, что ни на одном из этих аккаунтов нет аватарки с желтым Хограйдером. То есть вместо своей основы Холдик заходит на подставной аккаунт, на котором висит перматч за софт, чтобы показать зрителям, мол, смотрите, мою основу забанили навсегда.
Так, ну и чё тут? Ну, есть. Кто? Легендарка. Люйбу, дайте Люйбу, пожалуйста. Я не смотрел его ролик с озвучкой.
Хотя на самом деле бана никакого нет. Тем более, как мы знаем, Supercell банит за софт волнами. Последняя волна была 31 мая. А Холдика почему-то забанили только спустя целую неделю. И насчет Бессмертного, он так же, как и Холдик, не показывает, на каком аккаунте висит бан. А еще во всех данных роликах прослеживается общая тенденция, которую я специально до этого момента не упоминал. Абсолютно каждый из креаторов в конце своего видео проговаривает, что хочет уйти, либо уже уходит из Бравла.
А еще мне кажется, что я немножечко уже вышел из формата Бравл Старса. Да и если честно, сам устал от этой игры.
Я принял решение, что сделаю небольшую передышку.
Сам порой тоже задумываешься, смысл тогда, может быть, пора гнать куда-то еще.
У меня реально желание просто нафиг ливнуть. Если мне не разбанят, до свидания. Всем пока, ребят. Не знаю, ребят. Я думаю, что я больше не буду играть в Brawl Stars, если мой основной аккаунт не разбанят.
Некоторые даже призывают зрителей предложить в комментариях игру, в которую можно перейти.
Так что пишите свои предложения в комментарии под этим видео.
Напишите в комментариях, в какие игры сейчас стоит поиграть.
Может быть, у вас есть какие-то мысли, что можно было бы скатать, поиграть?
Ну, я думаю, к этому моменту уже становится понятно, к чему были нужны все эти пафосные речи про плохих разработчиков и скатившуюся игру. А если вы еще не поняли, предлагаю взглянуть на вот этот пост про упомянутые мной видосы, который запустил БСД у себя в телеге. Ничего странного не замечаете? В нижнем правом углу красуется маленькая подпись «Реклама», то есть текст писался через бота для рекламных постов. И я вот прямо стесняюсь спросить, а что конкретно рекламируется в данном посте? И почему этот пост тут же удалили и заменили на идентичный, только уже без рекламной подписи? А ответ на этот вопрос лежит на поверхности. Один из конкурентов Бравла сейчас пытается подкупить всех креаторов по Бравлу, чтобы они перешли в другую игру, то есть игру конкурента. Ну и какая конкретно эта игра, можно выяснить благодаря тому, что один из креаторов, а именно ММА, очень сильно переигрывает. Вот один из его фрагментов с перечислением возможных игр для перехода. И просто послушайте, как он делает заметный акцент на одной из них.
Valorant, Дотка, что-то еще, Mobile Legends. Ну, если моба, это, конечно, солидный вариантик.
Ну, вы поняли, да? Что там? Valorant, Дотка, о, Mobile Legends, вот это вообще зачет. Ладно, возможно, просто совпадение. Тогда давайте я вам покажу еще одно видео. Это совместный шорт с Пози и ММА, где они выбирают игры для перехода на выбывание. И снова обратите внимание на акцент.
Dota 2.
А игра сложная и порог входа очень высокий.
Mobile Legends тоже часто писали.
Я немного играл, это моба в каком-то смысле альтернатива Доте.
Герои, способности, быстрые матчи, это тоже оставляем. Honor of Kings мелькало в комментариях, добавляем.
Заметьте, здесь напрямую не выделяется победитель, чтобы ролик не ощущался рекламным. Но есть заметное выделение одной из игр. Dota преподносится как сложная игра с высоким порогом входа. И сразу же ей противопоставляется Мобла, в которую ММА, прошу заметить, даже немного играл. Да, альтернатива Доте, но там герои, способности, быстрые матчи, поэтому оставляем ее на финал. А следующим идет Honor of Kings, про который буквально говорится всего пару слов. А знаете почему? Потому что данная игра главный конкурент, сюрприз-сюрприз, Mobile Legends. И в этом шорте можно заметить еще один момент. Я не буду здесь показывать фрагменты из Моблы, чтобы их разрабы не смогли кинуть мне страйк, но если вы перейдете на оригинальный шорт с Пози, то увидите, что в моменте, где показан геймплей Моблы, он играет под своим ником, а фрагменты всех остальных игр взяты с интернета. То есть выбор был сделан уже изначально. И пока я монтировал, на канале Пози вышел еще один ролик с итогами голосования, где по его же статистике с большим отрывом
матчах.
Победила Дота. Но, конечно же, Доту в итоге не выбрали. Потому что Пози, видите ли, она не понравилась. Точнее, просто заплатили разрабы другой игры. Ну и в итоге выбрал он, конечно же, Моблу. Кто бы сомневался. Причем без рекламной ссылки в описании. Чтобы никто не догадался, что это реклама. А вот под роликом Аурума почти 2000 ничуть не накрученных лайков набралось на комменте от чувака, который предлагает поиграть в Моблу. Ну и теперь самый главный момент. Со мной тоже связывались представители Mobile Legends и предлагали рекламу в формате спонсорского ролика или стрима. Это было еще в марте. Я тогда ответил, что у меня все же целевая БС, и сомневаюсь, что ролики по мобле у меня вообще что-то наберут. Затем в мае мне написали еще раз и предложили купить рекламный ролик с определенной темой, в котором я бы сравнил героев из Бравла и моблы. Ролик такого формата выходил на канале Андромеды. Такое предложение меня уже заинтересовало, и я попросил скинуть техзадание на рекламу. Техзадание — это, если что, такой документ, в котором прописано, что надо показывать и как надо говорить. Ну, в общем, такой небольшой сценарий, на котором основан посыл рекламы. И в ответ на просьбу скинуть техзадание мне написали вот это.
Привет, я не могу поделиться техническим заданием до подписания договора. Либо мы можем подписать NDA.
То есть соглашение о неразглашении.
И тогда я расскажу вам общее описание нашего брифа. Да, это наш проект, но он не только для креаторов Brawl Stars. Это общая программа для креаторов из разных игр.
Данный ответ меня очень сильно смутил. Что такого секретного должно скрываться в этом ТЗ, чтобы мне нужно было ради него обязательно подписывать соглашение о неразглашении? Тем более ни один другой рекламодатель такого от меня никогда не требовал. Поэтому я отказался и сказал, что не готов ничего подписывать. А затем в предложку канала мне написал еще один менеджер Моблы, предлагая целую рекламную кампанию на 3 месяца. И, честно говоря, мне сначала показалось, что это вообще не Ронка пишет, поэтому просто написал «не интересует». Но тип оказался настойчивый, и только с 3-го раза понял, что меня это не интересует. И вот недавно он мне написал еще раз. Снова с предложением рекламной кампании. Но это даже не главное. После небольшого диалога данный тип выдает мне следующую фразу.
Просто, насколько мне известно, 2 крупных креатора, которые недавно выпустили ролики о завершении сотрудничества с Суперселом. Угадай, куда перейдут?
И вот мы сейчас сложили финальный кусочек пазла. В данном движе от BS Creator Мешан никто иной, как Мунтун, компания-владелец Mobile Legends. И вся эта история с жалобными видосами и фейковыми банами. Просто тщательно продуманная стратегия, чтобы переманить аудиторию конкурента. Данную схему можно условно разделить на 3 акта. В первом акте от блогера требуется найти повод для обсуждения, будь то бан аккаунта или наскучившая игра, чтобы выставить Бравл и компанию Supercell в плохом свете и обвинить во всех тяжких грехах, подорвав общественное мнение. Во втором акте требуется объявить об уходе из БС или о желании отдалиться от Supercell, чтобы призвать аудиторию предлагать игры для перехода, создав тем самым иллюзию, что переход будет желанием аудитории, а не рекламодателя. И финальный 3-й акт — это непосредственно переход в новую игру. И, разумеется, этой новой игрой будет Mobile Legends. В роликах не будет рекламных ссылок и призывов к скачиванию, для того, чтобы обычный зритель сложнее заподозрил неладное. И пока что идет прогрев аудитории, чтобы переход в новую игру показался максимально естественным и непроплаченным. Не поймите меня неправильно, я вообще не против того, чтобы кто-то из блогеров снимал игру за деньги. Мы все хотим кушать, и это полностью их выбор. У меня претензии только к Moontoon и Mobile Legends, которым ничто не мешало дальше развивать свою игру и закупать адекватную, подчеркиваю, адекватную рекламу. Но вместо этого они проводят настолько гнилую и мерзкую рекламную кампанию, заставляя блогеров игры конкурента очернять свою же собственную игру. Есть очень большая разница между конструктивной и деструктивной критикой. Я, если критикую Supercell, то критикую по делу, а не на ровном месте. И я не призываю аудиторию ливать из игры, а наоборот, освещаю проблему, чтобы разработчики заметили желание игроков и исправили ситуацию. А то, чем занимаются разрабы Моблы, это прямая атака с целью дискредитировать конкурента. И про это вам подробнее расскажет сегодняшний гость.
Шалом, товарищи! Меня зовут Милославский, и появился я здесь для того, чтобы подробнее развернуть тейк о разнице между критикой и тупыми набросами. Я понимаю, что моя аудитория, аудитория Сандрагона и подписчики ютуберов, о которых идет речь в этом видео, это абсолютно разные вселенные. И меня, откровенно говоря, смешит то, как на скоплении десятилетних детей пиарщики Моблы пытаются вкинуть какую-то пародию на аналитический контент. Но, тем не менее. Конструктивная критика выделяется тем, что помогает найти ошибки и устранить их. Набросы же — это набросы, тут и объяснять особо нечего. Ты просто поливаешь дерьмом, на чем свет стоит, причем неважно, за дело или за бабки. Из всех фигур, участвующих в этой рекламной кампании, я разочаровался разве что в ММА. Ведь он годами цеплял аудиторию своей личностью и принципами, наподобие отсутствия мата в видео даже тогда, когда YouTube на мат никак не реагировал. Что же касается Холдика, Пози и прочих, от них такого можно было ожидать, и никакого удивления их коллективный мув не вызывает. Но мы немного отошли от темы. Наша игра действительно умирала год назад, когда провальные обновления выходили подряд. Вдумайтесь, за довольно короткий промежуток времени мы получили тогда ранкед с хоккеем, удаление мастерства с заменой его на видеозаписи, которыми вообще никто не интересуется, и 2 ивента, состоявших целиком и полностью из самоповторов. Что тогда делала упомянутая группа ютуберов? Правильно, снимала стендов, а ММА в тот момент записал ролик о своей усталости и отсутствии видимых перспектив, после чего пропал с Ютуба на год. Так выглядит искреннее разочарование в игре. Никто не рассказывал вам, почему то или иное обновление — это провал. Они просто не обращали внимания на то, что происходило в игре. Они видели, что просмотры падают, и искали игру, в которой такого нет. В самый подходящий момент для потока конструктивной критики и попыток направить разработчиков на правильный путь, wordplay, они просто игнорировали качественное падение игры и уходили в другие. Сейчас с Бравл Старсом глобально все хорошо, а 2 прям весомых проблемы — это отваливающиеся сервера и софт. Можно покритиковать разработчиков за что-то, но это не супер важные вещи, они не мешают игре оставаться хорошей. Но из 2 проблем аж целую причину для ухода из игры, на которой построен твой канал, не раздуешь. Поэтому в ход идет всякая ересь по типу обесцененных кубков и тупых рандомов. Рекламная стратегия здесь максимально грязная, и это без лишних слов понятно. Единственное, чего я не понимаю, того, как это не спалила аудитория. Потому что помимо ролика, который вы сейчас смотрите, тема этой рекламной кампании разгоняется в ютуберских чатах, в которых я иногда бываю. И там абсолютно все понимают, что такой всплеск критики, не имеющий под собой никакой почвы, с явными намеками на преимущество Моблы, не может быть не спланирован. И пока я тянул со своим партом, Пози уже успел снять ролик о том, что уходит из Бравл Старса. Знаете куда? Правильно, в Моблу. Уходит он временно, видимо, пока контракт действует. И выглядит все это довольно жалко. Жалко со стороны пиарщиков Моблы. Они же буквально надеются откусить часть аудитории игры конкурента с помощью раздутых причин для критики. Именно раздутых, это самое важное. Посмотрим, пойдет ли десятилетняя аудитория, подобно свиньям, из одного загона в другой по велению любимых летсплейщиков. Но ситуация прям ужас. Представьте, если бы, когда проходил рандомный ивент, который я аж 4 видоса критиковал, и бы взял и из игры ушел из-за этого. Прикольно было бы, наверное.
В русскоязычном комьюнити БС уже была попытка массового перехода в другую игру, а именно шедевра-стендовчик. Но происходило это в 23-м году, и тогда реально были поводы для ухода из Бравла, поскольку игрокам из России запретили входить в игру, а летом этого же года актив игры пробил максимальное дно с момента релиза, из-за чего просмотров на контенте по Бравлу было очень мало. Но время прошло, люди нашли обходы, а показатели игры со временем вернулись в норму. Да, сейчас уже не пик актива, но я бы не сказал, что ситуация с Бравлом прям настолько критическая, чтобы срочно из нее ливать и переходить в MLBB. Мне кажется, что спустя несколько подобных роликов аудитория просто поймет, что смотрит рекламу, просмотры просядут и все вернется на круги своя. Сам YouTube устроен так, что подбирает зрителям не конкретных авторов, а конкретный контент, который нравится самому зрителю. То есть ютубер по Бравлу не может взять и внезапно начать снимать другую игру, сохранив при этом прежние просмотры. Потому что большинство зрителей смотрят ютубера не ради самого ютубера, а ради контента, который данный ютубер предоставляет. То есть ради контента по Бравлу. И вряд ли массовый закуп конкурента как-то поменяет ситуацию. А вот репутация разрабов Моблы подпортится серьезно. Напиши в комментариях, что ты думаешь насчет
Just a dream of going to the moon. Escape there, I thought.
И разумеется, Хоудик не просто так скрывает данное имени